What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca. Today is going to be not a vlog. I've been doing a lot of vlogs and a lot of life videos lately, so I wanted to do a sit-down one. And this one is kind of going to be like a part 2-ish to one I did a while ago, actually. That was things I wish I knew before I got married and had kids. And a lot of people liked that video, and so I wanted to do one about postpartum and baby things that no one really tells you. So I'm here to tell you what I've experienced and what I've heard from some of my friends that have had kids. So that's what today's video is going to be. If you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. And let's get started. So one thing that I did not want to do right after having a baby was the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork. There's paperwork for you, there's paperwork for the baby, there's paperwork for dad, and there's even paperwork after you leave the hospital. So they're coming in with clipboards all the time. That was not something I really thought about, or I was really told after. Obviously you have to fill out like the baby name, all that kind of stuff. Even if you don't know the name before you leave the hospital, like you have to do that when you go get the Social Security card, which is a whole nother process. With the newborn going into the Social Security office and getting a Social Security card. So that was kind of a surprise to me, all the paperwork I had to do. And I didn't know any of it. I didn't know all about it. So that was interesting, but they do help you fill it out if you need help. So that was nice, but I just didn't know, I guess I didn't think about that was something I would have to do, aside from naming him and her. But yeah, how much a birth costs. For me personally, my first baby, my son, my original plan was going to be to use a midwife, and I did prenatal care and everything with a midwife. It was going great, and I went into labor on my own, 14 days late, past due date, late, but during labor, I got checked and baby was breech. So we ended up having to go in and get me checked, and I had an emergency C-section. So all that to say, I had the cost of the midwife, and then I had the cost of an emergency C-section. So it was not cheap. We actually just paid off my first child. He is 4. And we did have insurance as well. So that part was killer. And then my second pregnancy, my daughter, because I had a breech birth, my first pregnancy, I chose to use a OBGYN. I could have used a midwife if I wanted to, but I was going to try and do VBAC, which was successful. So happy I was able to do that. So my daughter was a VBAC birth, and so we just had the cost of her hospital birth. So that wasn't as hefty of a high price tag, but I feel like that's one thing that nobody talks about, is how much just the birth alone costs. Okay, so aside from all the logistics, the paperwork and the cost, the other thing that was really hard on me, especially my first pregnancy, was the emotions after birth. It's rough. It's real rough. But I had a really supportive husband, and mom, sister who had kids. So I had a lot of support in that area, but it's just hard. Like you have a baby, and then it's like you're responsible for this little itty bitty tiny thing to feed it, change it, take care of it, keep it alive, and it's just overwhelming. And you're hormonal as well. So that was especially hard, and I feel like people focus a lot on like how the baby is doing after birth and not a whole lot on how the mom is doing after birth. So that's something I try and do after my friends have kids and stuff, is ask them how they're doing, because the baby's gonna be okay. Like, how's the mom doing emotionally is what I want to know. So I guess ask that question would be my advice. to you. And kind of going off of the emotions, there's a lot of anxiety too as a new mom. Even just like leaving the baby with dad for an hour to go grocery shopping. That was hard for me just because my first baby, he slept on my chest a lot. Like, he was always on me. I breastfed. Like, it was just a lot of anxiety when I would go grocery shopping, or when I would just like take a shower and he'd be in the bassinet. I'm like, is he okay? Is he okay? Like, there was just so much anxiety. And have a really supportive husband that took care of him as well, obviously. But that's another thing. Like, your mind goes crazy sometimes of like, what if could happen? And it's hard. So always have a good support system around you if you can. And yeah, I experienced a lot of anxiety right after my first, and with my second a little bit, not as much, but yeah, that was hard too. Okay, this one, mom guilt. This one set in for me a little later. It's more so, I struggle with a lot now. Once the kids are a little older and my girlfriends want to go to dinner or something, it's hard because I want to go, but the second I leave, I'm like, I should be home with my kids. Like, I'm the mom right now. They're little now. They're not going to be little forever. And my brain just like goes nuts. And it's just like, I just feel so bad. Like, I should be with them. I should be with them. They're my kids. But it's also obviously healthy for me to have a life aside from my kids. But the guilt, man, that can eat you alive, I swear. But a lot of my girlfriends have kids, so they understand what that's like. So that is nice as well. But it's still hard, even, like I said, grocery shopping or like running an errand really quick, or it's hard because you want to go, but you also feel like you should be home because that's your job. But it's also your job to be mentally stable as well. And you need both things, a mom life and a life, to be a good mom. It's just fact. So, okay, I want to talk a little bit now about body, what your body goes through postpartum. Oh man, that is a whole can of worms for me personally. I had a lot of food sensitivity after my kids, especially after my second one. I noticed it a lot more. I had a sensitivity to dairy and lactose, and meat sometimes. Like, it's just weird. Like, sometimes you just can't handle certain things after pregnancy that you could before. And I didn't know that was a thing. I also didn't know that I would have horrible skin issues, like acne, and just like, oh my gosh, hormonal acne is like the worst. And I had a little bit of acne in high school, but it was fine until I had kids, and then now it's alive and well, and it sucks. So I didn't know about that either. Another thing is your teeth during pregnancy, especially during, for me, and after. It's like, I don't know what it is. I'm sure there is some reason behind it, but I had so many cavities after having kids. I don't know if it was from being sick during pregnancy, early pregnancy, or what it was, but I've been getting that back on track a lot in the last few years, so that's good now, but that was also a surprise to me. The last thing I want to talk about is eating. For me, after I had kids, I did not have a really big appetite, and which was not great because I was breastfeeding. I breastfed both my kids. My son, I breastfed till he was 21 months, and then my daughter, she's 2 now, and she will comfort nurse once in a while, but she's weaned pretty much. So, but I just didn't have an appetite, and yeah, it kind of showed. I look at pictures now and I'm like, I should have focused a little more on that. But again, you're so emotional, you're so hormonal, you're so focused on baby and like it's just like the last thing you're thinking about is yourself, which is horrible, but it was the reality for me. So, but like I said, I have a wonderful, supportive husband who would make me breakfast and would help me. He asks me all the time if I would eat and did I eat today, and he would cook for me for dinner and stuff like that for me and the kids. So he is great at that, but it's just something I think that slips our minds when we're focusing on mom, like baby diaper change, baby feeding, baby, all this kind of stuff, nap time. It just, you go throughout a day, or you go throughout the day and just forget to eat. And that is, I don't know, it's horrible and it shouldn't happen, but it does. So, yeah, just wanted to put that out there to make sure that you're eating and that you have, even if it's like protein bars or granola bars or yogurt or just like snacky stuff too, like just fuel your body. And because you will need it, you'll be not as tired, you'll have more energy. So I wish I made that more of a priority on my own and didn't have to rely on my lovely, wonderful husband to make sure I ate that day. So that is it for today's video. I hope that I was relatable and that you don't feel alone, and that you don't feel crazy, because sometimes you can feel crazy after you have a child or a big life change at all. So, but yeah, these are just some things that I experienced and that I didn't know, but I just wanted to do a video and talk about it. And let me know if you had anything else that you didn't know about or that you experienced. Let me know in the comments, and you can do it. You are and you will be a good mom. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to share. Let me know if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.